When we first found out that Cars on the Road was in the works, I think the big question on everyone's mind was why in the world are Lightning McQueen and Mater going on this road trip? What is the underlying reasoning for it? Is there a big Grand Prix in town? Does McQueen have to go and try to win a race against some new fast car? Have the Lemons broken out of jail? Does Mater and McQueen need to go team up with Finn and Holly and try to stop them again? You know, my brain was going in all sorts of directions to try to figure out why McQueen and Mater are going on this road trip. But I don't think that in a million years I would have ever expected the reason for the road trip to be that Mater needed to go to his sister's wedding. I mean, we didn't even know that Mater had a sister up until the very first episode of Cars on the Road, Dino Park. And of course, we don't even get to see her until the very last episode, Gettin Hitched. So it just goes to show you how secretive Disney and Pixar were trying to be, trying to build up Mater's sister Mato as this big, great character that we never knew we needed. And it's funny because she's not even really in the show all that much, but the entire show kind of revolves around her in a way. And you know what? I absolutely love Mato. I think she is a welcome addition to the Cars franchise, a character that I really never knew I needed. But now that she's in the Cars franchise, I really want to see more from her. And finally, we have her 155 scale diecast right here in the Cars Garage. So welcome on back, everyone. You guys have been wanting to see my review of Mato for quite some time. At least I've been wanting to dive into this one and crack open Mato because I've had three diecast of her for quite some time. She first came out of 2023 Singles Case K, and luckily I found the half count version of Case K at good old Wally Mart quite a few times. So yeah, that's how I ended up with three. I just feel like she's going to end up being rare on this Cars on the Road packaging style, but I don't know. I have really no reason to think that other than the fact that she's a main character, and I don't think she was really in very many cases in 2023. In fact, I'm pretty sure K was the only one, but I'll check on that later. Anyway, so beautiful artwork here. Let's zoom in on that because they really did a great job just trying to make her look pretty much like Mater, but as a female, like totally very exuberant and just so joyful, like look at that giant mouth with a little bit of buck teeth in the middle there. She has like the more like normal, I guess, teeth for how, cars usually look in the Cars world. But, she does have a little crack there. So she's kind of like Mater, still kind of shares those same teeth, bucktooth genes, you know what I mean? And she just looks so fun, that's why I love Mato. She's just full of joy in the episode, even though, like I said, she really doesn't appear all that much throughout it. And on this artwork, they even gave her little wedding flower tiara thingy there, so that's nice. I love how her teal kind of matches like how Mater looked back in the day, so we can assume that they both kind of had the same color. Of course, she doesn't look the same as this diecast because they kind of got the diecast wrong. But, I think at the end of the day, they're supposed to be kind of the same color. Like when they were young, they probably had the same paint job, I'd assume, but I'm not really sure. It's just funny because, we thought for so long that we knew who Mater was. We thought we knew his family, and we really didn't know at all. You know, we never knew he had a sister. We knew he had cousins, what are their names? Cousin Cletus, Buford, and Judd. And we knew that he had an arch nemesis, Bubba, from the video games and the whatever else, the old books and all that kind of stuff, all that fun stuff from back in the day. But we never knew he had a sister, and we never knew that he lived in a giant mansion with his family out east. We thought that he grew up in Radiator Springs, but it's just funny how, they didn't really like rewrite Mater's history or anything. They just kind of added to it, because they never said that he grew up in Radiator Springs. We just assumed because, from the books and everything, he's kind of, I mean, it seemed like he'd always lived there, but I guess not. His sister was never mentioned until Cars on the Road, but yet here she is. Pretty wild. Anyways, on the back, as seen in Cars on the Road, we got lots of other nice releases like Road Rumbler Mater, who will be cracking open very soon. Mateo, that is obviously Mato's lovely husband, and the West Flanapus will be opening him up soon too. And the Quadratorchosaur, I gotta get him still. He's like the last rare one I need because I just got a second Pelicadabra 2-pack, which will be opening up soon. And then, yeah, he's like the last rare one I really need to open. Then we got Griswold and Mallory Carhut. Still not sure why they're not putting a car there, but whatever. Yeah, that's enough talk about the packaging. I'm so excited to finally get Mater's sister opened up so that Mater can have his sibling, finally. next to him on the shelf back there. So you know what? Without any further ado, let's crack open Mato. It feels so nice to get a main character for a change. Obviously, since all the episodes of Cars on the Road are pretty short, and usually if there is a new character, they only appear in one, then, we don't really get to see them all that much, so I wouldn't really call a lot of the main characters. But Mato, despite her only appearing in the last episode, and not really for that much of it either, I would say that she is still a very main character because of the fact that she's Mater's sister. Like she's definitely just as main of a character as Ivy or Cruz Ramirez is, or even almost as much as Lightning McQueen and Mater are in Cars on the Road. You know what I mean? Anyways, though, she looks absolutely phenomenal. So happy to finally have her as a diecast. The way they designed her, they being Pixar, I think they just did a great job because like she looks so classy. Look at the wheel wells that she has covering the back wheels there. And then the little mirrors that she has, nice touch, kind of like Finn McMissile. Very old school looking front fascia with the circular headlights and the big old grill. Just a really classy looking car all the way around. If I would have knew that Mater had a sister back in the day, or really any time before Cars on the Road, I probably wouldn't have pictured her to look like this, so classy and upscale, just because of the fact that, well, that's how Mater looks, a rusty old tow truck. But honestly, I would have thought that she would have been a tow truck. So it's kind of funny, I guess, just because you're a tow truck in the world of cars doesn't mean that your sister or brother can't just be a normal car, or maybe even just like maybe they could be a race car. Who knows? Like, what are the limitations? I don't know. But honestly, I didn't even realize that. Well, I mean, I guess I had to because Dusty and Rusty. But I was gonna say I didn't really realize that cars even had siblings in the world of cars, or really families for that matter. But that means that Mater and Mato must have, parents. Obviously, I highly doubt they're still alive because Mater and Mato are pretty old. Probably like about 70, I think they'd be. So that would make sense that they wouldn't be alive anymore, but it would be cool to see more of Mater's family in the future. Like, of course, we got to see his cousins back in the day at the books and the video games, and Bubba. I don't think it's related to Bubba though, but still, it would be nice to see even more of Mater's family in the future at some point in time, I think. Anyways, though, yeah, here is Mato, and I want to show you guys where she appears at in Cars on the Road now. Obviously, in the final episode, we get to see her meet Mater for the first time at her wedding, and everything seems fine until Mato starts talking a little dirty to Mater, and Mater just can't take it anymore, and the two just hash it out, doing all sorts of challenges around the yard. Luckily, though, Cruz Ramirez is there and she calms them down later and gets them to talk about their past and their feelings. And they realize that they really do love each other and they do appreciate each other. And that's when everything is good and Mato can have her wedding with her lovely husband, Mateo. And the two just drive off into the sunset. We don't get to see a whole ton of Mato in the series, but I mean, the entire series really does revolve around her, because it's building up the entire time, every episode getting closer and closer to this wedding where we can meet Mater's sister, of course. And I just like everything about that concept, because it's not what I originally thought the road trip was going to be about. For sure, I thought it would be just because, a race or something more like typical that you'd expect it to be about. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad it turned out to be about the wedding because, as Flo says in the beginning of Cars on the Road, ain't nothing better than a wedding to bring folks together. And I gotta say, Flo, you're right about that. That's for sure. One thing I wanted to point out, though, before we move on, Mato's voice actress, Dana Powell, I just like her voice for Mato. I think it really works well. Got a little bit of a southern accent to it for sure. Kind of like a little countryness going on. Anyway, so yeah, Mato, she just is so nicely designed. What a long and fashionable looking car. Like, she really is high end. Obviously, she's very wealthy, so that's why she looks so nice. But, I mean, Mater had the chance. He could have been just as wealthy as Mato. I'm sure he got half of the money from their parents' estate. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess they never sold it because Mato lives there, so I don't know how that works. But clearly, Mater probably didn't get any money. That's the reason he looks like he does now. Anyways, though, yeah, zooming on in and see how she looks up close. She looks really nice. Love her expression. I mean, she's looking very straightforward, but still, I don't know. They gave her the top and bottom eyelids, so that's nice. I like that. And then very wide open mouth. It's not very deep, but I like how you can see the teeth there, and there's just a little gap. Obviously, not as extreme as Mater's, but they are technically still somewhat kind of like buck teeth, just a little bit. Not as much though, because I don't know how good a female car would look with buck teeth. She probably wouldn't like that, but she definitely, has a little bit of it. I love to see Mater's dad and mom and see just how much they have it. I bet his mom doesn't have it at all. She's probably a classy car. Yeah, Mater's mom's probably a classy car, or was, I'd assume. Probably not alive anymore. Um, and then his dad was probably like more like Mater, I'd assume, or maybe vice versa. Who knows? Sometimes those roles get reversed. But I love the front fascia with the circular headlights and the little orange lights underneath and the big old grill here. It is a plastic piece, which is kind of strange. Usually grills are just made of metal like the rest of the body, but oh well, this is a plastic piece too, the bumper. But it looks okay. Doesn't look too plasticky. Still nice and silver. And then she's got the little plastic mirrors here too, which kind of remind me of Fennec Missile's mirrors. So that's kind of cool. Definitely giving me some Cars 2 nostalgia right now for Finn. And then I love how it dips down here. It's very like intricate. It's a really cool design. But I like how the circular headlights kind of like jut out here, as you can see, and then it like dives down. It goes up for the hood and the engine area there. But I love her color. It's a beautiful cyan blue. Not sure if they really like got it 100% accurate to how it looks in the episode, but I don't know. I feel like it should be a bit more teal, but I won't complain because I do like it. And it's hard to get the right color sometimes. I understand, Mattel. The rims, though, I think that's the one problem with Mato because they are nice and silver, but it's kind of like a painted silver, so they're not reflective or anything. And then the hubcaps are blue, which is cool, but they actually missed out on a detail. There should be an M in the middle, but obviously, because of the axle hole, you can't see it, so they didn't even put it on, which sucks, but too bad they didn't just, not put the hole there, because they've done that before with some cars where they just like just make it a big flat rim and they don't, expose the hole, expose the axle. But I don't know, they didn't for this one. Kind of sucks. Would have been nice to see that little detail, the M, but at least you can't tell from the back ones because they're covered by the wheel wells. So I guess that's okay. But yeah, look how intricate she is. Like so many curves and humps and even some straight lines. But she is a very curvy car for being older, because usually old cars I find are very like I don't know, very straight. With their design elements. But she is definitely not. She's just custom made, obviously, from Disney and Pixar's imagination, not a real life car model, of course, but I like the doors too. That's a funky looking door because the jet out here for the wheel wells. It's just funny how the door like goes straight down and just comes out like both of them, but the front door even more so. Cool that she has two doors though. I feel like a lot of cars these days don't have two doors, so that's cool. Like on Cars Diecast at least. But then yeah, she has the nice silver trim around the windows. Three sets of windows on the side. That's pretty unique. And the little door handles there. And she does have her wedding tiara, a little nice piece there. It's not really a tiara, I guess it kind of is. It's just like almost a line of roses, I guess is what it is. But I guess would that be called a tiara? It doesn't really curve, doesn't really look like a tiara to me, but I guess it still is. Just like a headpiece, I guess. Whatever you want to call it, but they definitely detailed it nicely. Nice and light pink, and then you can see some green for the stems and the leaves on it too, so that's nice. And the eyes are a plastic eye plate, but I like them. Nice silver trim around the windshield there. I just wish the eyeballs were moved down a bit, like just a tad, because it does remind me of just the regular Mater's expression from Thailand, where he's kind of looking a bit too high up. Just talking about that when I reviewed him, because he was in the two pack with the new Cactus McQueen. But yeah, I don't know. I wish her eyeballs were moved down a bit. But other than that, and the rims, I think she's a really cool car. This side, though, is the exact same from the looks of it. Yeah, there's no decals on Mato or anything like that, but she does have some nice silver trim on the bottom there, and of course all around the windows. Same with the back here. Of course, some nice silver trim around the window there. And then this little like trunk opener thing here with like I guess the lock there, the trunk lock. That's cool. Nice little detail you really only see on older cars. And then I remember, yeah, my grandpa's car. used to have a classic car and it was like that, but you don't see that anymore. Like locks on doors from the outside where you can put the key in. It doesn't have that on the sides like my grandpa's car did, or you just can't tell because it's too small, maybe. But that's funny. I never see that anymore on new cars. I guess you just unlock it with the key fob, I guess. Little circular taillights though, with the little orange lights underneath. And then the back bumper here is a separate plastic piece, just like the front. But it doesn't look as bad as it does on some cars like Finnick Missile or Flow. You know, there's some cars where it just doesn't look that great. But on Mato, it really doesn't look all that bad. Anyways, though, it's looks like oh, never mind. I was gonna say her back tire is like there's less of a gap in between them, but no, never mind. It's just the way her wheel well juts out there. And you can tell on the bottom her date stamp is S20A, so the 20th week of, what would that be? Oh, 2023, of course. Oh yeah, and by the way, Mato was only released in Case K for 2023, so just wanted to point that out to clear up any confusion there. But yeah, S20A makes sense. And then, is there anything else under there? There's always a glare when I'm looking at the bases. Not for you guys, but when I'm looking like from up here, there's a glare a little bit. It says 2022 copyright, so that's cool. And then, yeah, all our engine type of stuff down there, all the inner workings of Mato. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Mato. I think. I don't have too much else to say about her, other than the fact that she's a great character and she makes a great diecast. I don't really think there's a lot of cars that really look the same as her, like from Cars on the Road, at least, but even from any of the other Cars movies or shows, I can't think of anyone that really looks like Mato. I mean, Mallory Carhut here, a little bit, because she's older, but she only has the one door there. And I don't know, she's just not as classy looking, more just probably like a regular old car, whereas Mato's, I don't know, kind of more like a high end, upscale type of car. And then I thought that Big D, even though he's from the Disney store, I thought that he kind of resembled Mato, but I mean, that's the only one that I could really find in my collection. Unfortunately, obviously, it's a different scaling. It's 164 scale, I think at least. I think, or 124 scale, I forget. But this is 155 scale, so it's just bigger, obviously. But same type of idea. You know, with like the well, I guess no, he doesn't have the covered wheels, but he does have some cool wheel wells there, and like the curvature here, kind of similar to Mato, but hers looks a bit more feminine, I would say. And then he's more squared off. Yeah, he's a different looking car, but he's cool in his own way. He's so heavy too, and he's got the extra wheel there, kind of similar to Mato though. So I thought I'd show him with her. But other than that, I mean, she kind of looks a little bit like Santa car to be honest, but I don't have him. And then who else? There was one other car too that I thought she. Oh yeah, the Queen. She kind of resembles the Queen Elizabeth from Cars 2, just a little bit, who they actually did do from Mattel, and same with Santa Car. But I don't have either of them, so I can't compare them, unfortunately. But I can compare her to her lovely husband, Mateo here. I knew I'd get confused with the names when we got Mater, Mato, and Mateo. I knew I'd call one of them the wrong names at one point in the video, but yeah, Mato and Mateo, the two lovebirds. Does make me wonder why Mato is getting married so late in life, but I don't know, maybe her husband that she had before, if she had one, passed away, or who really knows what happened. It would be nice to know a little bit more about Mato's backstory, but yeah, as for now, we don't know too much about it. Maybe one day we'll see a season 2 of Cars on the Road, or who knows, really. Maybe we'll see Cars 4 and Mato will be in it. That would be cool. It'd be weird though. How would they explain that? Would they just kind of go into it, you know, like expecting everyone to know who Mato is? Or would they be like, I don't know, kind of like try to reintroduce her. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see how Mato would come back into the world of Cars. But maybe she'll never come back. Who knows? But at least we know that Mater and Mato's sibling relationship is now healed because of Cruz Ramirez, I guess, thanks to Cruz, the car that can do everything, I guess. But yeah, it's nice. It was a nice ending. I really liked Cars on the Road's ending. Cool to see Mater and his sister make up because, I mean, that's kind of what the whole show was about. It was leading up to that, and then it finished with that, and I like that. There was a very distinct like beginning, middle, and end to the last episode, and really the whole show was a great show. Too bad we never got a season 2 to Cars on the Road, but I guess it's still out there. Could we? Maybe one day. I'm not sure. I kind of doubt it, but I guess you really never know. Oh yeah, and before you leave, not really necessary that I show Mato next to brand new Mater, but I thought I would because I always thought that they were kind of supposed to be the same color, but obviously Mato is more of a cyan blue. Mater's like a teal, I guess, kind of, but more like a greeny kind of color than a blue. But I always thought they were supposed to be the same, like Mater back in the day. That's how he would have looked growing up with Mato, but it would have been cool if they had matching paint. I guess it's not the exact same though, but definitely similar. Anyways, yeah, now it's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And with that, I'll see you guys next time right here on the Cars Garage.